go now to Boris Sanchez. He watched the president's speech with a group of voters in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, obviously crucial swing area that Donald Trump narrowly won in the election. So, Boris, you were there watching it, able to see the conversations, the interactions, and then talk to everyone afterwards. How is this mixed group of Trump and Harris voters responding? What did they hear?
A variety of opinions tonight, Aaron, as you might imagine. I've been discussing with 8 of my friends here in Bucks County. You mentioned it. Bucks County is a swing district, the biggest swing district in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump won it by about 300 votes. It was a huge part of him winning the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on his return to the White House. I wanted to first start with Carolyn here, who is a military veteran, someone who served, as well as a law enforcement veteran. You were perhaps the most enthusiastic in the entire group for Trump's speech. On a day where he installs 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, how did you feel about his message regarding the economy?
I thought it was very positive. I think what's happening now, we used to be a country that would just let everything happen. Okay, we'll do this. You know, you guys, Panama can have this. You know, I think now we're taking back things that should have never been given away. So I think doing those tariffs and everything, I think it's well overdone. I mean, it should have been done a long time ago.
Sherry, you were a Kamala Harris voter. Are you concerned about the speech, specifically no real mention of how tariffs might be inflationary?
I don't think that he understands how tariffs might be inflationary, and I think that he did not spend nearly enough time talking about what we're experiencing right now. I work for a nonprofit agency. I am seeing more people struggling with food insecurity, with a lack of ability to sustain themselves, housing, utility costs. It's worse now than ever. Americans, middle America, that's what we're feeling right now, and I don't think his speech addressed that nearly enough.
Now, in some of the conversations we've been having, I know that a lot of you wanted to see Donald Trump strike a tone that was uniting, that brought the country together. Could you show me, raise your hands, how many of you wanted to see that sort of uniting message in his speech? Everybody, right?
Sure.
Keep your hands raised if you felt that he delivered on that promise. So we've got 2 and a half over there. Joe, tell us, why do you think it was a half?
I think that there was definitely a lot of unity that he was preaching there. I think that there definitely needed to be more of a willingness by the president to maybe do some more reaching across the aisle than he might have conveyed in the speech.
I just want to let our viewers know, Joe was actually a participant in a Kamala Harris town hall that we had last year. You were undecided at the time. Ultimately, you sided with President Trump. Imogene, what did you make of the speech? Anything that stood out to you that may have moved you? You were a Kamala Harris voter.
I was. There wasn't very much that was positive to me about the speech. I would like to see him, as Joe said, to bring us together. And I don't think that he has that capacity. He does not ever seem to be in line with bringing people together. It's more of a divisive method that he tries to pit us against one another, whether it's racially or economically or where we live, you know, our zip codes. So I don't see that, and I would like to see him do that.
I want to ask you guys, we have only about a minute, so I'm going to do another show of hands. What did we think about Trump blaming Biden for the high cost of eggs? Did we like it? Raise your hands.
Oh, I don't.
Nobody liked it. Nobody thought him.
I don't know much about it. I mean, I don't really have enough.
They killed 100 million
Marianne?
chickens. So
Well,
in 2024.
that was part of the response to avian flu.
But exactly. But that also is a reason why the prices went up.
Right.
You know, it's not that Trump did anything about that. And I mean, it was the bird flu. They had to call the chickens. Right. That's why the prices raised up. It wasn't Trump's fault. It wasn't because Biden had some crazy policy against, you know, eggs and chickens. So, you know,
I appreciate all of your perspectives. We're going to have to put a pin on that. We'll pick up the conversation in just a bit. Aaron, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear more from them, Boris. And I have to say, that's the point. Nobody wanted to hear blaming Biden for eggs, but then they raised their hand and said, there was bird flu. Just the fact that you can have people who feel so differently be able to sit there and have a conversation. That's a good thing. Makes us all feel good.
Well, CNN's Boris Hedges is in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, with a panel of both Trump and Harris voters. Now, Trump flipped that county red for the first time since 1988. Boris, what did your voters say?
We're here with a focus group, 8 of my closest friends now. We've got 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and they had a variety of opinions about President Trump's joint address to Congress tonight. And I want to start with Gerald over at the end here. What did you make of the speech? What did you think?
So I have to start by saying, I have to question everything he says. Can I trust what he says? The evidence shows that he just isn't trustworthy. And he promised all these things today, but actions speak louder than words. I don't see any success here at all. I see a country fearful, people being laid off, questions about people's health, the measles outbreak. All these things are happening under Donald Trump's watch. And it's very concerning, domestically and, of course, internationally, what's happening in the world as a result of him being in office.
You were a Kamala Harris supporter.
Yeah.
Marianne, you were a Donald Trump supporter. You were pretty effusive in your praise about his speech. What did you think?
Well, I was very happy to hear about his plans for the future. I mean, it's 40 days in. He's done more than he ever did, really, in the last time that he was elected. He had a lot of bumps on the road. I really respect what he's trying to do. Sometimes he's a little bombastic, but I think he's sincere. I think his message about unity and getting this country back in order is long overdue. And yes, it's probably going to be ugly to set the course again, reset our economy, reset our budget. But I think we're going to get through it. And I think there's a method to his so-called madness.
And Mark, you are a cattle and hog farmer,
Yes.
and Trump had a specific message for farmers. He said, bear with me.
Yes.
There's going to be some disturbance as he levies tariffs on other nations. I wonder what you took from that, and also his message on immigration, because I know that is a specific focus for you as an agricultural employer.
Yeah, we went through this in his first 4 years when he put in those tariffs and stuff. But halfway through, our agricultural commodity prices jumped up, doubled, almost tripled what they were when he first came in 4 years ago. And we know that our commodity prices, the other countries are going to put tariffs on our agricultural products. But we also know that United States farmers, we produce the most food. We are the breadbasket of the world. They want our products, okay? So they're gonna hold us hostage on our agricultural products, but they're gonna come back and they're gonna buy them.
So you're not worried about tariffs?
I think we're gonna take a dip in our products, but it's gonna come back.
Imogene, you were a Kamala Harris supporter. I wonder what you think of how Democrats did this evening, how they responded to Trump. There were some very obvious protests, some quiet protests, and a disturbance in the middle of Trump's speech by Congressman Al Green. What did you think?
Well, I'm a big proponent of decor, and I think that sometimes actions do speak louder than words, but I think that they should have respected the office and not disrupted in that respect. And so that gave me a little bit of a pause. And I just think that sometimes you get more accomplished in a quiet way.
And Carolyn, you were perhaps the most enthusiastic of our guest focus group today. I wonder what you made of Trump's speech from the perspective of what he could have done better. Would you have any constructive criticism for the president?
Well, his theatrics, of course. I mean, I think the last, even the 4 years when he was president before, he was kind of the same. But I think because he is a president there's never been anybody more attacked than him in the last 4 years, not one in the history of the U.S. And I think what happens with that is he's like the Teflon guy, nothing ever sticks. He just gets up and does. Is it always right? No, but he does come ahead, regardless of what they throw at him. So, and I think the whole Butler thing, yes, I think he was saved for a reason. I'm also take homeless vets off the street. So when we're spending $60 million on illegal immigrants and $3 billion on veterans, that's a problem.
Sherry, speaking of the theatrics that we saw with Trump, I wonder what you made of some of the folks that he highlighted.
I thought those were really moving touches. I was moved by those. But even that attempt really didn't bring the unity that I really think that America is craving right now. I think that he could have done more than, you know, those few highlighted individuals to bring the country together. I think that's what is really needed right now.